Hi everyone, my name is Wesley Roach and this is my unit on World War II. It is for grade 11 history, which is United States history. Excuse me. My time frame is a 15-day unit with 1-hour sessions each. So here you can see my goals and the start of my goals and student learning outcomes. The main thing that I want students to take away from this unit is to gain an understanding of how and why the war played out the way it did, and how key events during the war and affected the war and how they impacted the final outcome of the war. Some events that will be covered are the Holocaust mobilization of California, the Manhattan Project, United States official entry into the war, Pearl Harbor, and Japanese internment camps. So here you can see my goals and student learning outcomes. I'm just going to read my goals to you. So students will obtain an understanding of the causes and effects of World War II. And the second one is students will understand why the United States reacted the way the country did during events preceding, during, and directly after the war. Something that I really want students to take away from this unit is to see how events in history are all intertwined. It's not specific events that happen in history and this is the event and that's it, but all events, no matter what, are interconnected and related, and everything from the past is somehow impacting the future, whether we can think about it or not. So my first day is just to take notes and explain the unit assessment. So they will use iPads. There's going to be time for questions, there will be some discussion, and then there will be notes on the Weebly website that they need to create as their final project. So I chose a Weebly website because it allowed for students to have creativity and allowed for technology to be used in the classroom, and then they can go back and look at other students' projects before the unit is over so they can see what their classmates wrote. So the different topics they will need to research for their project are Pearl Harbor, California mobilization, the Holocaust, the Tuskegee Airmen, Navajo code talkers, Japanese internment camps, military technology, the atomic bomb, and the Marshall Plan. And then at the bottom you can see italicized MI, and then the multiple intelligences that are used for each lesson. I tried to incorporate different multiple intelligences in each lesson, and I tried to use as many as I could, but sometimes I didn't use as many as I wish that I could have in this unit. So day 2, 3-column activity on vocabulary words. The words are words that they focused on the day before. They contain the word, a definition, sometimes a sentence. Depending on the teacher, it can be a definition and the sentence, or just the definition and a colored picture. So day 3, research and list important dates and events to start and create a digital map. I liked Z-Maps because it was easy for students to use. It can be a map around the world. It's color-coded. And then day 4, short lecture and activity on tanks and airplanes. Well, a short lecture on the military technologies. Then they will research it on their own, how it changed the war. Small groups, they will create replicas of a tank or an airplane. This can be done in the class, or it can be done on a digital application if a student can find one. And then they will just use a word processor to explain and analyze how the tanks and airplanes changed the war. So day 5, Japanese internment camps and a database question. I like to incorporate a lot of writing in my history because if they can explain it to me, if they can analyze it and show me their analysis, it means that they're truly understanding it, and it shows me what they've learned more than a traditional multiple choice assessment. So they'll just be given the packet with documents and guiding questions to help understand the documents more, and then they need to answer, did internment of the Japanese help the war? So day 6, Japanese internment camp Socratic seminar. I love using Socratic seminars in classes because it allows for students to talk in a group. You can have one big group or you can have smaller groups. But with Socratic seminars, it allows for the students to learn from each other. And I think that's so much more impactful than just learning from me, because they're able to learn from all their classmates' different perspectives. And by learning from different perspectives, they have a more well-rounded view of history. So day 7, Introduction of Mobilization California. It's a quick lecture, a short class discussion on if they have any relationship any relation to any of the topics being discussed, which are San Diego's transformation into a blitz boon, have they been to San Diego, it's the establishment of Camp Pendleton, Balboa Park during World War II, industrialization, and the Manhattan Project. And then they will break into groups and use the short lecture to make easily to make an infographic. On the next day, they will break into different groups and research one of the topics that they had earlier today. And from these topics, they need to research enough to create a Doing United States History poster and create a song. So on day 9, students will be given time to work on their poster and the song assignment. So if you're not familiar with Doing United States History posters or Doing World History posters, all it is so students will formulate a question that is important to the subject on their own, and then they will put images, depictions that will answer their question. So it's not supposed to have any words, so it's just a picture. They go up to present it, and they explain why each picture was important and how it answered their question. So on day 10 will be when they present their Doing United States History posters to the class and the songs. The songs can be presented in the class or they can be pre-recorded. They will need to write a short reflection for each song presented in class. So day 11, atomic bomb debate. Break into 2 groups. They'll be given some time before the debate to formulate thoughts, ideas, theses, to some counter arguments, and then they will have a debate, and then they need to write a reflection paper on their personal thoughts about dropping the bomb, regardless of the side that they were on in the debate. Day 12 is an On This Day digital poster. If you don't know about On This Day, it's a website BBC created, and you pick a day, and it says what happened in World War II on that day. So I think it's fun because it allows for students to gain more of a connection. They can look up what happened on their birthday. Oh wow, this happened on my birthday. So then they will create Doing United States History posters. These are a lot shorter, a lot faster, and then present their posters for 1 to 2 minutes and will write 2 reflective journal entries about their feelings regarding events that occurred on the home and war fronts. So day 13 is one of my favorite activities I came up with because the students will use their emotions for this assignment. So they will use Women in the Holocaust, which is a website created that has primary source documents of poems written by women and children who were alive before the Holocaust, during the Holocaust, those who survived the Holocaust. They wrote about how they felt during that time period. And they will then be given a scenario that some parents want teachers to stop teaching about the Holocaust, and they need to write a letter to the district explaining why they think it's important for the Holocaust to be taught in schools, and why it's important that events, although tragic like this, need to be continually taught. So day 14, my history activity. So they will create a timeline of events that occurred during the war, and then they will incorporate analysis for each point on their timeline. And then complete a graphic organizer comparing the Allied and Axis wars. I like my history because not only is it a timeline, but it's a geographical timeline. So you can have the world, and then you put your plots all over the world based on where they are, and you put the dates, and when you press play, it plays your dates in chronological order, but it moves you around the world based on your event. And day 15, I wanted to end with a comic strip activity. So students will work in small groups to pick and analyze important information on 2 specific events they have learned throughout the unit and create a digital comic strip using Canva. I thought it would be fun. Students can work in small groups, they can work together, depict their event. Why did you depict the event the way you did? And then they talk to each other, they analyze each other's comic strips, and it's a way for them to continue talking about the material. So thank you for listening, everyone, about my World War II unit. I'm sorry it's kind of long. I tried to shorten it as much as I could. Have a good next quarter. Good luck with teaching, and congratulations on graduating, anyone who's graduating.